Do you find yourself debating whether to use paper versus digital resources in the classroom? Both have their benefits and uses. Let's take a moment to discuss when and where to use paper versus digital resources. There are many benefits to using paper resources in your classroom. One of them is so that students have evidence that they can use when they're citing sources. Throughout our unit of study, students can use the charts around the room as evidence when citing their source. Oftentimes, when a student provides an answer or a piece of information, we always prompt them to follow up with citing their source by asking them, "How do you know? Prove it. Show me where you found that information." During these moments, students can physically get up and point to or touch the part of the chart they used when providing information to the class. This is a great way to build common knowledge in the classroom, as well as show other students in the classroom how easy it is to cite source by using resources. We make this process easy for students by having the charts physically up in the classroom for students to refer to. Students can also use the charts when citing their sources in their writing. We teach students how to cite many types of sources: books, articles, documentaries, and even charts. Remember, when creating your charts, use some text features such as titles and dates so students can use that information to cite the chart when they are referring to it in their writing. Another benefit to using paper resources in the classroom or anchor charts is so that you as a teacher can incorporate in interactive word walls, where students can become part of the process of building the information with you. Think about the rigorous vocabulary that you have on your anchor charts. Consider doing a strategy called the word card review. In this strategy, we take important information or vocabulary from our charts, we rewrite it on colored sheets of paper, pass it out to the students, and then provide them clues so that they can come up and add the words to the chart. This is a way to have our students be part of the process of learning and teaching with us. This is an interactive way to engage students into the learning process. This creates an interactive word wall for the students. Instead of the teacher adding the word cards to the chart, the students will be adding the word cards to the chart. This helps students to practice academic language and important concepts from the state standards. These are words that students will later be expected to read, write, and speak about in their presentations. This process of creating a word card review with the students creates more access to the information for our students. Later on, after the word card review activity, they are able to go back to the charts, take the word cards off of the chart, take it to their desk to take it into the writing process. The benefit of having an interactive word wall is that information is still written on the chart so that other students can still refer to that vocabulary. Once students are done using the word card, they can place it back onto the input chart. The third benefit of creating paper resources in the classroom is to create living documents for students to add on to throughout the unit of study. This provides them with more engagement and interaction with the information in the classroom. During team tasks, students can practice application of their knowledge. They can add on information to the input charts based on what they learned prior to their team activity. They can add sources, write down information on Post-its, add it to the charts, color in the input charts, and so on. This is a great way to engage our students in the learning process and have them add on to the foundations that we have built in our direct instruction. As a way to incorporate, validate, and celebrate primary languages, we can also have our students work on doing primary language word card reviews, where they write down information that they connect with in their primary language and add it to the input charts. This is a way to have our classrooms dripping with not only the target language, but also multiple languages around the world. We refer to the walls in our classroom as living walls, as students are constantly referring to the information, citing their sources, interacting with word cards, and also adding on to our charts. This is a way to create ownership for our students in the classroom and become engaged with the language. Because after all, these aren't my charts, these are our charts. Direct instruction is a powerful time to use anchor charts or paper resources in the classroom, as this is a way to front-load vocabulary to introduce concepts to our students. After you have introduced concepts, vocabulary, the unit of study through your direct instruction, this is a great time to segue into digital resources. The gradual release of responsibility is an amazing way to incorporate in technology into our classrooms. Here are a couple of different ways that you can incorporate technology into the gradual release of responsibility when students are working in teams and working independently. Number 1, digital resource library. Once you do your input chart on butcher paper whole class, you can upload an image of the completed chart onto your digital library for students to access. The key here is we want our students to be able to access the print-rich environment that we have created in the classroom, but through a digital library. This offers students the ability to access the classroom resource even if they're not at school. If students are studying for a unit exam, they can log on to the classroom digital resource library and use the classmate charts to review at home. Students can benefit from a digital library as it provides them with access to the charts that they made with the teacher in the classroom. If students are studying for a unit exam, for example, they still have access to the anchor charts as it will live in the digital library. They can then use the charts to review information at home or wherever they are outside the classroom. We highly recommend pulling in digital resources when students are working on team tasks. Following the gradual release of responsibility, we always start off with the I do it as a teacher. This is where we are modeling the information, we are modeling the language for our students. The next part of gradual release of responsibility is the we do it together. This is where the teacher is facilitating the information and students are practicing the language with the teacher. This is considered our guided instruction. Once the teacher has modeled the I do it, practice the we do it with the students, the next part of gradual release of responsibility is team task, where we have our students engage in collaborative activities. Consider offering some digital assignments during team task to offer variety to students. One idea is that students can create team presentations using technology from the information they've learned thus far in the unit. They can take one row of the process grid and turn that into a digital slideshow presentation to later share with the rest of the class. The digital team task ideas students can complete are endless, so get creative and offer a task that students will be excited to create. The balance of using both paper and digital resources is crucial in the classroom. Consider some of these tips when planning your unit of study to decide when and where you would like to use each one.